Evening, everyone, and welcome to the Grafton Select Board Joint Meeting with Finance Committee and Town Moderator for October 13, 2021 at 7 p.m. I'd like to call
Recording
the
in
meeting-
progress.
Thank you.
I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. At this point in time, I just need to read, just confirming member access. As a preliminary matter, my name is Peter Carlson. I'll be chairing the Town of Grafton Select Board meeting tonight. My role tonight is to permit me to confirm that all members and persons participating in this agenda are present and can hear me. Select Board members, would I please call your name? Please respond in the affirmative. Doreen DeFazio.
DeFazio here.
Ray Mead. Ray Mead is not going to be here. He notified me. Matt Often.
Present.
Colleen Roy.
Roy here.
And Peter Carlson is here. If applicable, anticipated speakers on the agenda tonight, please respond in the affirmative. Evan Brassard, Town Administrator.
Here.
Dawn Anderson, Town Moderator.
Here.
Candy LaValle, Town Clerk.
Here.
This open meeting of the Select Board is being conducted remotely consistent with the Legislative Acts of 2021, Chapter 20, Section 20, and an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. This meeting is convened by the Zoom app and is posted on the meeting agenda. Please see the meeting agenda on the town website for details on how to participate remotely. The Zoom meeting note is being recorded and may be published or rebroadcast. Any participation within this meeting will be visible to all others. Finally, any vote taken tonight by the Select Board shall be done via roll call. The order, which you can find posted at the town's website at www.grafton-ma.gov, allows the public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reusable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting tonight will not feature any public comment. For this meeting, we're convened by the Zoom app as posted on the town website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Please be aware that other people may be able to see you and that take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording and viewed later by the public. All supporting materials have been provided to members of this body, are available at the town website, and when final minutes are posted unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I, the chair, or the chair of Finance Committee will note otherwise. Just some ground rules. Please allow us to introduce each speaker. Raise your hand function with the Zoom app, and then we'll call your name to speak. For any response, please make sure you wait until one of the chairs yields the floor to you before speaking. And finally, just a reminder for everyone: each vote will be taken via roll call. With that, I am all set.
Okay. I will open the meeting of the Finance Committee for this evening, and again, I will also do a roll call for Finance Committee members. Dan Kusher.
Here.
Andy Jefferson.
Present.
Barry Smith.
Here.
Sue Robbins.
Here.
Angelina Correa.
Here.
And Irene Houle here. Is there anybody on Zoom who I did not see who is here from Finance Committee?
Here. This is Gopal here.
Gopal, sorry about that. I did not realize you were here. I don't have access to a good view. So Gopal
Okay,
Shenoy, you are here. Anybody else from Finance Committee who I may have missed? Okay. I'm not going to repeat all of the things that Peter Carlson read, but they all hold true. This meeting is being held by the special legislation. It is being recorded. We are not planning on any public participation. Minutes will be posted when the meeting is done, as all minutes are. And I think that pretty much covers it.
All right.
Okay, and Peter, I noticed that William Blake has joined us.
Welcome, William. Your anticipated speaker on this meeting. Can you hear us? And you're here.
Okay, and I should have acknowledged that our secretary, Sue Fiacco, is here as well.
Just want to make sure William can hear us first before we continue.
There you go.
William, are you with us? I think you're muted.
Yep, I'm here.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Sorry, light technical difficulties.
All right. So, moving forward here, first item on the agenda tonight is to review town meeting warrant with the town moderator finance committee to go over the logistics. At this point in time, I can turn this over to Dawn Anderson, who will be moderating our meeting next Monday.
Hi, everyone. Okay. A little nervous. I haven't done this before. Evan did it for me last time. So we have the warrant articles all set. We went over, Evan and I have reviewed the setup for the auditorium. And I have the stage diagram. Okay. So I'm not sure where to begin.
Don, do you want me to assist?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay.
So hi everybody. This is Anya.
Hi, Anya.
Hi, Anya.
She'll be with us till mom gets home in a few more minutes. So, right, we have the general layout, which will be consistent with what we've done in the past. I haven't been a part of that in the auditorium, but I know a number of you have, and I think we'll work that out without an issue. So, having it in the high school auditorium, we will have masks required. We will also look to provide some spacing between the seating. In previous town meetings, I did that by using just painter's tape to block off spaces in between each. We can do something like that. We can figure that out, kind of on the fly on that Monday. We'll have supplies to do that. I think Don has made the decision that we're going to use paddles instead of the clickers. We need to spend some time in the future with the clickers and make sure that we've tested them and that they're ready to go. And we didn't really have time for that setup this time. Excuse me. So I'm just Don. Did I miss anything as far as logistics go for that?
No, let me pull up that sheet. Okay. Seats, social distancing. We will have audio visual was confirmed. They will have screens set up and microphones will be set up at the front of the auditorium. And then the registration tables, I'm sure Candy already has that all figured out for check-in in the lobby area. What do you call that space in the opening of the high school where it's like kind of a cafeteria, but it's also leads into the auditorium?
I believe it's called the
goes
dining
over
commons.
to the gymnasium. Is it the lobby? I kind of been calling it the lobby, but I don't know what it is.
I believe it's called the dining commons.
The dining commons. Okay,
Yes.
registration will be in the dining commons.
They'll be serving filet and swordfish Monday night.
All right. And I did confirm with Dave that he will serve as my deputy moderator. Masks will be mandatory, and I think that was it for I did have one idea, and I wasn't sure if you guys had this available. Because we are making masks mandatory, would it be possible to have some disposable masks available at the check-in for anyone who doesn't come prepared? Just so that we have that. And I think we had already, for the last 3 meetings that were done within the COVID life, we have hand sanitizers available as well.
Yeah. Yes, I believe William or Candy, do you recall we have some leftover stock?
Yep, and we have some from elections too that are the pumps. So
That
we
would
can
be
use those if
perfect,
need
yeah.
to. Yep.
Okay, we can do that.
right.
May I make a suggestion on that for the hand sanitizer? And I know, Ms. Gopal, you raised your hand. I apologize for interjecting before you. But just have those hand sanitizers available where the microphones are.
Yes.
As people may touch that, they probably want to clean their hand. If there's some way we can put that in close proximity in front of the microphones where people have access.
Okay.
Evan, just a quick question. I didn't
Sure.
understand what a clicker, what is a clicker and how is it going to be used?
Oh, I
we're-
can
so-
answer.
Okay, go ahead, Don.
So in 2016, 2017 timeframe, they started using these remote counting mechanisms that you press 1 for yes and 2 for no and 3 for abstain. And it would come up on the computer screen and the moderator would be able to very quickly see what the count was, which is fantastic. But they haven't been used since the fall of 2019. I spoke with Candy and there's some software upgrades we want to make sure are up to speed, and we would have to figure out making sure the batteries were ready. And Evan has all those awesome paddles, which people really seem to enjoy in the spring. So I thought, why not? And as I review old meetings to prepare for town meeting, and I was watching one from 2017 yesterday where there were too many people in the gymnasium, in the auditorium. It was the year that we had the gas pipeline, the library expansion, and the DPW all being voted on in one night. And so many people came that they couldn't even use the clickers. So using the paddles is just a more foolproof way of doing it. And that gives Evan and I a chance to touch base with Candy. We kind of made the decision to have the meeting indoors as close as Evan let me have to coming to peace with it.
Yeah, that's a tough decision. Okay, so logistically, what else do we need to talk about? So we'll have ample copies of the warrant. I think, William, we were shooting for 250 copies.
I believe it was something in that neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah. So William and I had met. We're going to run off. Well, it's going to be 250 now. We're gonna
It's officially 250.
Right. So we'll run off 250 copies of that to have them on hand. Other than that, we'll have our PowerPoint. Our PowerPoint will just be kind of rehashing the article. And so since this warrant has 4 different consent agendas, the first 4 items of our presentation will be the consent motion and what they are. Excuse me for one second. Anya, go let your sister into the house, please. Sorry. So we'll have those 4 broken apart. Now, if somebody yells out hold and pulls something out of consent, we will also have each article on its own slide so that we can then click down to that and do that one individually. Other than that, and this is always the nail in the coffin, as far as the first, say, 17, 18 articles, they're all pretty straightforward. We've grouped them in the consent manner, and I think that they're pretty non-controversial. I think they're daily, kind of like daily operations. And so I don't anticipate a lot of discussion around those. There's some other articles that come later that have, I think 25 Worcester Street is going to bring some people out, and I think, we'll have the clerk's item is on there. I think there'll be some probably people that want to speak around that issue, but I think that those are going to probably be our 2 places that we have some more robust dialogue. I think the rest of them are probably going to move along pretty quickly.
Unless someone else has heard something, I haven't heard anything about changing the meeting to a Saturday, which I know was attempted in the past and was very heavily debated. And it feels like after 3 in a row of being outside on a Saturday, it just seems like it might just sail through. Of course, that being said, that's the one I picked for being the dark horse that gets a bunch of discussion that we never saw coming.
Right. I was going to skip that one, Don, so that I didn't jinx us, but now I can blame you when we talk about that for 3 hours. But I think all kidding aside, I think that there's probably some trepidation before, and obviously this is before my time here, but you've done it 3 times successfully. People have seen it go on a Saturday and it wasn't catastrophic, and maybe that helps move that along. Other than that, I feel like this is a pretty straightforward town meeting. We've got people that have done this before. Obviously, again, this is my first one in the auditorium. This will be our first one that Don's moderating in the auditorium. But it's not the first one that Grafton's done in the auditorium. So I think we're going to rely kind of on that institutional knowledge. Candy's obviously going to be instrumental in that. And I think that I don't really have any major concerns about this one.
No.
The outside one was definitely more complicated.
Yes, and I'd like to not keep the trend of every meeting that I moderate have a completely new set of logistics. So maybe this spring we could do something really mainstream and just like get the clickers working and not have to be masked. So
Yep.
that's
That'd be
the dream.
Yeah, exactly.
So I actually have a question about the masks. Is there a plan for how to enforce that if it needs to be enforced?
So I can tell you what my experience with that is, and what I had done is I created a section, if you will, to put people that didn't want to be masked. I didn't run into the actual issue, but I had created a space that I say blocked off a corner of seating and then gave space around it for people that, almost like an isolating manner. That said, it is in the school, and I think, we'll have to enforce that policy as best that we can. It gets dicey when you're talking about people's right to, interact with government and be at town meeting and all of that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they could interact by putting a mask on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yes. And I am taking classes at Asabat Valley High School right now, learning to play guitar. And as adults, I am. My
That's
fingers
awesome.
are so sore.
That's awesome.
And I will be missing a class next Monday because my classes are Monday nights 7 to 9. So that's an interesting conversation to have with your instructor about why you're not going to be there. But even though we're all adults and we're paying to go to these classes, the Department of Elementary Secondary Education ruling that it requires masking on school property, we all have to be masked. And it's not a good time, but it is what it is, and that's the rule of the Mass Department of Education, which I feel is, if our children can sit in school for 6+ hours a day in a mask, then I think their parents can handle it.
You're giving adults way too much credit.
Yeah.
So I was not aware that the rules about being on school property. So it is a real
It's
firm requirement.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Okay.
It's within the building. I did a Zoom meeting today with the Grafton Middle School Advisory Panel, and the teachers, the teachers that are attending the meeting all through Zoom, there was one classroom where 2 teachers were in the class together. There's no students, and they were both masked, even though there's no students there. So it's when they're in the building, if they're alone, they were unmasked because they were alone in the room. But you've got to,
Okay.
It's
So basically, if people refuse to wear a mask, they will have to leave. Is the answer to my question? Okay.
And I took away from that Don's going to be the heavy in that situation. So
The bad.
so I'm good with that.
okay. I'm going to have to make a phone call. I have a friend who works in the Secret Service, so
There
maybe
you
I'll
go.
have him come to the meeting and he can be my backup.
Yeah, but he's a
We'll just have William wear a tux and an earpiece.
Yes, you could be my Secret Service.
Right? Right?
I know you have a bow tie. I know you have a tuxedo, or at least
Both-
something that looks as close to a
Oh,
tuxedo.
he owns a
as you
tux.
could.
He owns a tux.
They
But both are going to
her
be at the
moderator
cleaners that
Secret
day.
Service.
Oh, wow, town meeting has evolved.
Yes, right?
The new
We're gonna have
normal.
a great time.
I'm sorry if I missed this earlier, but do we have the motions and assignments of who's going to read what already set up? I believe we do. Is that correct?
Yeah, William, do you want to take that?
Yep. So we do have all of the motions ready to go. We just got them back from town council yesterday. So we've got to clean them up a little bit, and then we'll be able to send them off to the members of the board.
May we make sure Finance Committee is copied on that email as well, and that they have a draft of that? Thank you.
Yep.
Absolutely. And we have included the Finance Committee recommendations right on the warrant that we're going to print.
Yep.
And we will have explanations as well under the articles like we did last time. People seem to like that. And I don't think there's anything else new with the warrant, right, Will?
No.
Okay.
I do have one question for you, Dawn. So, am I to understand that there's a possibility that the Affordable Housing Trust for 25 Worcester Street may come to that article with an amendment to their existing motion?
No, I actually okay, so for Article 25, I have been reached out by I've been contacted by 3 citizens that are, I'm assuming, not in favor of this because of they want to speak on it, and I'm doubting someone's going to speak on it if they're in favor of it because it seems so straightforward to me. But there was one person who wanted to make a motion to amend to change the date, to basically wanted to postpone it so that we didn't talk on it. He wanted to make a motion to amend to have the article be visited at the Springtown meeting, which isn't something that you can do. So I conferred with the Mass Moderators Association and another moderator that I know fairly well. And I just said to him, you can come forward and speak of why you feel it should not be voted on tonight, but it's a yes or no. It's not we're not doing a motion to amend.
So that would be a motion to pass over. So that would be
Yeah,
something that you would have to
and
entertain
he
and
was-
then weigh in, right? My
Right,
question was
and-
affordable housing. Were they going to come with any updated language for that?
Not that no one from affordable housing has reached out. It's
So
all
Pete,
been private
Pete,
citizens.
we haven't met. So we haven't discussed as a trust any update or amendments or additional language, or so it is what it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
We are meeting tomorrow night.
Oh, so there could be.
I have no idea if anybody's planning to. I wasn't planning to propose anything, but
No, the reason why I
We'll let you
brought it
know.
up, Don, was just when Mr. Spinney was here talking about it a few weeks ago at the board level, that there might have been some changes to the structural part of the language. So I just wanted to know if that was still the case, but I guess we will see on Monday. I just didn't know if that had been discussed with you from that chair. But I didn't
No,
realize that. Okay.
and I'm sure that Mr. Spinney knows who to contact about that. So, and I haven't heard from him.
Excellent. Thank you.
If I may,
Yeah, okay.
I had a question about the warrant, the last copy that I read, and this had to do with the George Hill Road project. In one part of the article, it said we were looking at appropriating $500,000 for design engineering. In the other part of the article, it said it implied the money was going to be for engineering. Now, I'm pretty certain we're not going to do George Hill Road for $500,000. But $500,000 for design seems high. Either way, it seemed to be a conflict in the 2 paragraphs. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up.
Is that Article 16?
I think so.
Could someone share that on the screen so we could all see that, please? Thank you.
Yep, working on it.
Thank you, sir.
Wouldn't that, if that is true, wouldn't that be obliterated by the motion itself?
Yes.
Okay. So that's almost a never mind.
Well, no, because let's make sure the wording is exactly what we want.
Yep. I get it in pay on-
William, have you found that?
Yep, I got it right
Can
here.
can I give you the share screen?
Yep.
All right, if you could pull that up for me, please.
Yep,
I
it's,
didn't do the VPN before I got on this call, and it's gonna take me a second to navigate back.
Can you all see this?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That, okay.
Long range tree, and then,
Article 11.
oh,
Yeah.
there we are. Okay. A sum of money from free cash for the design engineering transfer.
The difference is in our recommendation, it seems like the word design got left out.
Yeah,
Okay, but that's just our recommendation. It's nothing official.
Right.
so that,
Okay.
Right. Yeah, and I think the intent is the same. It's just the engineering for George Hill Road. But we'll make sure in the motion that we say, design engineering
difference?
to
Okay.
match the article. Yep.
design engineering says
Absolutely.
we're gonna draw pictures and we're gonna have a culvert here and a curve here and a berm here, and we're gonna take their land.
Right, so
all
what
that
is
stuff.
engineering without the
The
word
actual
design in front
engineering
of it?
is, okay, let's go out there and dig holes.
I thought that was construction.
Construction
Yeah.
design.
It doesn't.
Okay.
We'll fix it. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
okay.
We will fix that for sure.
The
we'll
wording
ju-
of the article is correct. It's the wording of the finance recommendation that
Right,
wasn't
missing
consistent.
a word.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll make sure the motion matches the article, and it'll be fine.
Okay,
Okay.
And hopefully that goes through by consent agenda 3, and that I don't know that anybody will catch that or have an issue with missing that word, but we'll fix it.
the engineers will.
Just Barry.
You don't want me engineering those things.
All right. Is there anything else?
Well, while we're waiting, Dawn, don't worry, David will not give you any grief for missing your guitar class.
I think you have to do a recital.
David is.
You have to pay
you know.
penance for missing a lesson, Dawn. So we're expecting a little tune before town meeting. On
I
Monday.
can do a very shaky, extremely slow version of Country Roads by John Denver. Which Candy has probably heard because I play on my back porch every weekend.
As long as you're done by 7:30. Right.
I keep telling my youngest Finley, who's been taking guitar for 3 years, that I'm finally one step closer to my dream of having a mother-son guitar duo. He's not a fan.
There you go. No.
Don, I do have one question.
Yes.
Our election workers have asked, in the past, they don't hear what's going on, and a couple of them do want to vote on some articles, and I said, as long as we have coverage, I'm fine with people going in. So are they going to be able to hear out where they are, what's going on inside, so they can go in and vote?
I think there are screens in the cafeteria, right?
That's where they're going to display those there?
Yeah,
Well-
so
Okay.
I can we should check with John when he's doing the audio setup.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if we can hit those simultaneously. I've actually never been in that building, so
All right.
this will be my first. So we can certainly make that request. I'm not sure if
AV.
if we can hit that from one input or not.
Another possibility would be to ask for a volunteer to be a quote runner, meaning somebody who would stand at the back of the auditorium, and then when a vote is coming, step out and indicate to those people time to come in for a vote on an article.
Well, we have a deputy
If-
moderator.
Right.
Yeah, if they know who, yeah. So if they know what articles they want to speak on or vote on,
Okay, so the speaking is different. That definitely
Yeah.
requires them
that
physically
would
to
they
come
would
in
are
for
they
more
going to want
time,
to
but
speak?
Peter
on
just
it, or
pointed
just-
out, we also have a deputy moderator. So
Yep.
perhaps he can count the votes. Is that what you were thinking of, Peter? Have him count votes of the election workers in the dining commons?
The deputy usually sits behind the
Yeah,
moderator.
that's what I'm thinking. They're not usually in the back. They're usually up front.
No, I think when we were
What's-
on the field, Dave had to be in the gym, so it was
Right.
a little bit different than normal. So
What's
I can
the
assign tellers.
what's the issue for not being able to hear? Is it distance?
They just can't hear once we're in there.
Okay.
Yeah, the doors are usually shut, so you can't hear. There was just a couple that asked they wanted to vote.
Yeah.
So there was nothing about discussion. I can send an email tomorrow.
Is it as simple as opening the door so that they can hear?
It may.
Like we could just
test it.
peg the door open and they can.
Yeah.
We can test it.
I would think having the doors open, given COVID, would be a good idea anyway to allow for air circulation throughout the auditorium and have the doors open on both ends where the emergency exits are, not the emergency exits, but the exits to the dining commons.
Doesn't Chief Crapeau usually stand back in that corner? You can keep the door open.
Yeah. He likes to keep an eye on things from that perch. Yes.
Barry, I'll let you know. I'll let the chief know that you consider him an official doorstop.
Thanks, Evan.
You're welcome.
Here I am.
Good luck with
worrying
those.
about-
Good luck with those tickets, Barry.
Here I am
Good
worrying
luck.
about Black Hawk helicopters coming down over my house. And now it's going to be just standard
So-
police vehicles.
So I'm a fan of the least complicated way to do it. So if we can just peg the doors open and
Yeah.
and that allows the election workers to hear what's going on in there, and they can make a choice of when they want to come in or speak on an issue or whatever that is. I think we go that route. If we don't see that working, we can figure out a different way, for sure.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anything else? Do we need to go over the town meeting warrant in its entirety?
I do not believe
I
so.
don't think so.
All right.
I feel we've done that several times.
Yes. Is there anything from select board? Questions?
Okay, Sufiaka?
Sofiaco?
Nope.
Sufiaco has her hand up.
Yes.
I do. A question for you, Peter, is was there any changes on Article 19 or any amendment from the select board on 19 and the same for 23?
Bill, can you put that up again?
So can you see 19?
19, I
The-
think, is as is what we saw at our last meeting when we discussed this a few weeks ago.
Yeah, there was no change to that one.
And the other number was 23, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
I think 23. Sorry, Peter. Go ahead.
That's okay. I know that the select board took a decision at its meeting the other week that we're going to recommend we pass over this article at this time, but we will, one of us will make that motion at the meeting on Monday.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good question.
Thanks, Will.
All right. If there isn't any other questions, I think at this point, I don't know if you need the select board, but I know you will still need to continue your meeting. Is that correct?
Suf, no, we're done as well.
Okay. I can, at this point in time, I can entertain a motion from the select board to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion made and seconded. All those by roll call, please. Mr. Fazio?
Fazio, aye.
Mr. Often?
Tonight.
Ms. Roy?
Roy, aye.
Carlson, aye. Okay, we are adjourned.
Okay, and Finance Committee, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Barry Smith, seconded by Dan Kusher. Roll call vote. Andy Jefferson.
Aye.
Dan Kusher.
Aye.
Barry Smith.
Aye.
Gopal Shanoy.
Aye.
Angela Correa.
Aye.
Sue Robbins. Is Sue still here?
Doesn't vote.
Aye.
Okay, and Irene
Sue,
Hool,
yeah,
aye.
sure.
The Finance Committee meeting is adjourned.